Hey guys, gonna go over the answers to all of the ones on this worksheet besides the ones that I did on notes already. All right, so starting with number one, all right, you just have a constant. So any constant like this is a horizontal line, is going through -4, all right? There's a point on there, it's 0, -4, and that's all you gotta do. All right, the domain of this is -infinity to infinity, and the range is just -4 in brackets. All the y coordinates are -4. So if you just see a constant like this, just a horizontal line going through that point on the y-axis, and you're good to go. All right, we did 2 on the notes, all right, which is a line. All right, 3 is a quadratic. All right, quadratics, you want to graph the vertex first. Normally, the vertex is at 0, 0. It gets moved to the right 3. So we're going to go to the right 3, right? And put our vertex there, 3, 0. It's not, nothing is happening going up or down at this point, all right? There you go. Sorry, having some mouse issues. Okay, so pardon me if that comes up throughout this video. So it's not moving up or down. There's no number over here. So then once you have your vertex, all right, you're going to go and check out the number in front of here, which in this case there's nothing there, so it's 1. That's how much you're going to go up or down. So we're going to go up 1. You're always to the right 1 and to the left 1. And there is your parabola. That is an awful drawing of a parabola. I apologize. All right, going up like that and going up like that. All right, so it's at 3, 0, 4, 1. And this would be, other point would be at 2, 1. All right, the domain of this is -infinity to infinity. The range is from the vertex and up. So that is from 0, included in the brackets, to infinity. All right. We did 4 in class. I'm sorry. Yeah. I guess they call it in class the way we do in school now. We did that on the notes already. All right. So 5 is another example of a quadratic. All right. Because that's a squared. So we are going to move this to the left 1, down 2. So it's going to be at -1, -2 is going to be our -1, -2 is going to be our vertex. All right, the A is -1. So I'm going to go down 1 to the right 1, down 1 to the left 1. And there's my parabola. All right, so vertex -1, -2, 0, -3, and -2, -3. The domain, -infinity to infinity. The range is -infinity to the vertex, which in this case is y coordinate is -2, and that has a bracket. All right, number 6, once again, we have a quadratic. All right, there's nothing in parentheses here, so we're not shifting it left or right, so it's going to stay at 0, but we're going to go up 3. All right, we're going to go up 3. So we are going to have a vertex at 0, 3. We then look at A, and we're going to go down 4. All right, we're going to end up going down 4 here. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, to the right 1, to the left 1, and there's my parabola with points at 0, 3, 1, -1, and -1, -1. Domain, as we have with all these parabolas, -infinity to infinity. And range, in this case, is going to be from -infinity to 3. That 3 should be a bracket. All right. 7, we already did. All right. So 8, this is a cube. All right. Cubic function. Remember, cubic function is an S-curve. All right. Important point here is this middle point here, which normally is at the origin. So we have 2 things happening to that middle point. It's getting moved to the right 2 because we set this equal to 0. And it's going to be moved up 1. All right. So that's the middle point right there, is at 2, 1. All right. Now, there's nothing in front of here, so we're going to go up and down 1. But this negative means in front of the x, there was a horizontal flip. So instead of going this way, the basic shape is going to look like that. So when I go up 1 and to the left 1, I'm going to go up and to the left and instead of up and to the right. I'm going to go down to the right. All right. So looks something like that, with my points are at 2, 1, at 1, 2, and at 3, 0. All right. The domain and range are both negative infinity to infinity. All right. So you find this middle point off of 0, 0, move to the right 2, up 1. Then whatever's in front of here, which is just 1, because there's nothing there, that's how much you go up or down. The reason we go to the left and up and to the left is because of this negative here. We flipped over the y-axis. All right. It's 8. We did 9. All right. We did this. So let's do 10, which is a radical. All right. A radical, remember, 0, 0, and it goes like that. You need to find your starting point. That's the most important thing. So my starting point, those two things tell me what happened. I move 1 to the left and up 2. So it's going to be -1, 2 is going to be my starting point for this one. Right? -1, 2. Now, this tells me how much I'm going to go up or down. I'm going to go down 3. So 1, 2, let's put it here. Now the question is, once I go down, am I going to the right or to the left? Well, this negative just means the basic shape's going to look like this. I'm still going to the right because the number in front of the x is positive. If the sign in front of the x was negative, I would go down and to the left. So I'm going to go down 3, 1, 2, 3, still to the right 1. And I got a graph that looks like that. All right, so 2 points you need here, -1, 2, and this is 0, -1. All right, the domain of this is going to be your starting point to the right, which means it's going to be our -1 to infinity. If it was pointing to the left, it would be -infinity to where my x coordinate, my starting point was. The range is going to be from -infinity, because it's pointing down, to whatever the y coordinate of that is, which is 2, bracket on both of that. So each one has a bracket. All right, 11. What's the start point here? Well, nothing happens to the x, so it's going to stay at 0, but we're going to move down 1. So 0, -1 is my start point. All right, 0, -1 is my start point. All right, so now, all right, we look here. I got a negative here, which means I'm going to go down 1. All right, I'm going to go down 1, and I'm going to go to the right 1 still, because that's positive there. If it was negative, I would go down to the left. So just do that. And I have 1, -2, and 0, -1. Those are my points. The domain of this one is going to be from 0 to infinity, 0 with the bracket. The range is -infinity to, what is that? -1 with a bracket. All right, 12, we did. All right, on to the second page here. All right, so 13. All right, 13 is an absolute value. This is a v. So you find the vertex. Nothing's changed here. So that's 0. We move up 3. So 0, 3 is going to be our vertex. All right, 0, 3. And this tells me how much you go down. So go down a half to the right 1, down a half to the left 1, and draw a V. So my points are at 0, 3. Then my point here is at 1, 2.5. And this is -1, 2.5, or 5 halves. So if you want to write it, I don't care. The domain is from -infinity to infinity. The range is from -infinity to 3 with a bracket. All right, 14, we did. All right, 15, we are back to a cubic. All right, 15, we are back to a cubic graph. All right, so remember, cubics look like this. Basically, 0, 0 is that middle point. Well, nothing's in there with the parentheses with the x, so that's going to stay, but we're going to move down 2. All right, so we are going to end up having a point, our middle point is going to be at 0, -2. All right, this tells me this number here, how much I go up. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go to the right one. All right, there's no flipping going on. So that's 1, 2, 3 to the left one. Just draw my little S curve, make that point so it looks like it goes through that. That's 1, 1, 0, -2, -1, 1, 2, 3, 4, -5. Domain and range for a cubic are both going to be from -infinity to infinity. All right. 16 is a radical. We have to find the starting point. All right. So normally 0, 0. I'm shifting 1 to the right and down 1. So it's going to be at 1, -1. All right. Now I have this negative and this negative. This means it's going to go down and to the left. So this is how much I go down. I'm going to go down 1 and to the left 1. Why is it down and to the left? Because that's a negative. So I go there. So if there are no negatives at all, it goes up to the right. If there's just a negative up front and a positive x, it goes down and to the right. If there's if it's no negative out front, just a negative here in front of the x, it goes like this. And there's 2 negatives like that, it goes like that. Those are the 4 possibilities that you can have for a radical graph for the basic shape. So it's 1, -1, and 0, -2. Domain is from -infinity to 1 with a bracket. Range is from -infinity to -1 with a bracket. All right, 17. 17, we have a rational. All right, normally we have a vertical asymptote at 0, horizontal asymptote at 0, curve here, curve here. That's the basic. All right, so what we have happen here, we have moving over 3, so that means we have a vertical asymptote at 3, and we have a horizontal asymptote at 2 because of this. All right, it moved up 2, so that means instead of being at 0, it's at 2. Move to the right 3, so instead of being at x equals 0, it's at x equals 3. All right. All right, this 1 from this point where they intersect, all right, at 3, 2, I'm going to move up 1 and to the right 1 because there's no other flips. This is where the curves normally occur. So there can be 1 there, and then so we have a curve right there, and that point is at 4, 3. And then my other point from this point where they intersect the asymptotes, I'm going to go down 1 to left 1 and draw my curve like that. And that's at 2, 1. All right, that point is 2, 1. All right, the domain is going to be -infinity to whatever the vertical asymptote is, which is 3, union 3 to infinity. The range is going to be the same thing except whatever the horizontal asymptote is, -infinity to 2, union 2 to infinity. All right, 18. 18 is another quadratic. Vertex is going to be at -1, -2. All right, so it's going to be at -1, -2. And this tells me how much I go up. So I go up 1, 2, 3 to the right 1, up 3 to the left 1. And I have my parabola. And looks like a little deer or something. What's that point? 0, 1, -1, -2. And this point here is -2, 1. All right, the domain is -infinity to infinity. The range goes from -2 to infinity. All right. All right, so for 19, we have a cubic. All right, so We want to find where that middle point is. So we at 1, -2, right? We'll move to the right 1, down 2. All right. All right, so that means we are at 1, -2. All right, so we have a negative out front here, which means instead of going to the right, ours is going to go down like that, up and to the left, down and to the right. So I'm going to go 3/2. That's 1.5. So I'm going to go up that amount to the, not to the right one. We're going to go to the left one, not that. And we're going to go down that amount to the right one. All right, and we have a curve that looks like that. All right, and don't worry about the hash marks. What's important is you have the basic shape of it, all right, and that you label the points correctly. So it's going to be 1, -2. All right, this point here is going to be 2. So if I was at -2 and I went down 1.5, that's -3.5. All right, this point here, x coordinate 0, -2 plus 1.5 is just 0.5. All right, and just label those 3 points and you'll be good to go. The domain and the range for a cubic are both always -infinity to infinity. All right, 20. All right, this should be, hopefully everyone recognizes this is an exponential. We had a whole quiz on this. There's your horizontal asymptote. You have, looks like that, right? 0, 1. So it would be 0, 1 and 1 comma the base, which in this case is 2. All right, so what is happening is we have a vertical flip and we have a shift of 1 to the right. All right, so we are still going to have a horizontal asymptote at 0, right? We're still going to have that. All right, my mouse isn't working. Let's see if I can get this. Bear with me for a second here. All right, there we go. Sorry for that little mark there. All right, so instead of 0, 1, I'd be at 0, 1. This negative means I move to the bottom right here, but then I move to the right one, it ends up there. 1, 2, I'd be at 1, 2, then I'll be at 1, -2, then move 1 to the right. So it looks just like that. So I'm at 1, -1, 2, -2. Domain is -infinity to infinity. Range, since it's on the below the horizontal asymptote, is going to be from -infinity to whatever the horizontal asymptote is, which is 0. All right. Last 4. A log graph. All right. Remember, log graph has a vertical asymptote. All right, and it goes through 1, 0, like that. So the only thing happening here is we have a horizontal flip because it's negative, and we're moving 2 to the right. All right, our normal points are 1, 0, and our base, which is 2, 1. All right, so we normally have vertical asymptotes, since we're shifting to the right 2. All right, since we're shifting to the right 2, let's put our vertical asymptote, right, at x = 2. All right, so we normally are at 1, 0. We would do a flip, a horizontal flip, all right, which means I would end up at -1, 0, but then moves right to 2, moves right back to 1, 0. 2, 1, all right, 2, 1, I would do a horizontal flip, which puts me at -2, 1, and then move back here. So I would be at 0, 1, and it looks like 0, 1, sorry. So at 0, 1, and 1, 0. Those are my 2 points. Domain, -infinity to whatever the vertical asymptote is, which is 2. Range is everything, -infinity to infinity. All right. Exponential. So 0, 1 are points, and 1, 2. We have a negative in both in front and in front of x. It means I have a horizontal and a vertical flip, which means I can change the signs of the x's and y's. And then I'm going to subtract 4 from my y because I'm moving everything down 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Let's see. So -4, which I think is this one right here. That's where my horizontal asymptote can be. That's what that number is. All right. So normally at 0, 1, I flip both of them, which means I go to 0, -1, and then I move down 4, which I'm at 0, -5. 1, 2, I flip both of those. I go to -1, -2, and then down 2, which takes me to -1, -6. So -1, -6. Trust me, that's a -6. And that is at 0, -5. Domain is from -infinity to infinity. Range is from -infinity to -4. All right, our law graph. All right, points are 1, 0, and the base comma 1, so that's 2, 1. I have a negative here, so that's going to be a vertical flip, which I'm going to change the sign of the y. This is going to move it down 2. So nothing's really happening to the x's, so I'm still going to be at asymptote of 0, okay? And let's get some other points here. Okay, so I 1, 0, 1, 0, I do a vertical flip, does nothing, but then I move up 2. I don't know why that's a negative. I move up 2 to have this. Then I have 2, 1. I do a flip. That becomes 2, -1, and then up. So right back to where I started. Oh, sorry, that graph's awful looking. Sorry. All right, and I have 1, 2, and 2, 1. All right. And then the domain is from the vertical asymptote, which is 0 to infinity. And the range is everything, -infinity to infinity. All right, last one. All right, we have a radical. So we still have a vertical asymptote. Now I can't really tell. This is faded here. Let me just draw in the XY plane here. Okay. Okay, there is nothing happening to the vertical asymptote. It's at 0, so vertical asymptote at 0. The horizontal asymptote, we're moving it down 2, so we're at -2. All right, so they intersect at 0, -2. This tells me I'm going to move. We have a -1. We have a -1. So instead of the negative here, so instead of the curves being in like this quadrant and this quadrant, they're going to flip to this one and that one. So I'm going to go up 1 to the left 1 and down 1 to the right 1. Curves are going to be there and there. So that point is 1, -3 and -1, -1. The domain is always in this type of graph -infinity to wherever the vertical asymptote is, and then the vertical asymptote to infinity. That's why I have 0 here. The range is the same thing, but you just substitute in the vertical asymptote for a horizontal asymptote. So it's -2 union -2 to infinity. All right. I hope you guys are doing all right with these types of problems. We'll have one more day of review, and then you guys will be having your quiz on Thursday. All right. Probably made up around 8 problems or so. So basically one of each type. All right. And one probably won't have on there. So, all right. Hope all's well. If you have any questions, please reach out.